everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Stassi. Thank you so much for being here today. Oh my gosh, I have Miss Rachel here. Thank you so much for coming here today. We just had like the most lovely pre-interview chat I think I've ever had on this podcast. So thank you so much for coming here today.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm so excited, even though I'm full of cold. Sorry, everybody in advance.
I know you messaged me this morning and you were just like so, and I'm like, girl, it's okay. If you can't do it, it's okay. And you're like, I'm gonna push through. I'm like,
Yeah. I just won't be on camera because I mean nobody wants to see what's going on right now.
Oh, I got you. When I am sick, and you know when I'm sick, because I always have a side bun to the side. Don't know why. And also hair's also dripping down because it can't be nicely put in. I have an oversized hoodie on, usually my Taylor Swift one, the baggiest pants, socks to my knees, and I'm lying on the couch with a blanket being like, oh, like that. So I want to thank
That's literally me right now, apart from the Taylor Swift top. This is actually a t-shirt which belongs to my husband that I'm wearing right now. So
Well, Rachel, I want to thank you so much for, coming here today and, fighting through the cold. So why don't we get this interview started? Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your Sims history?
yeah, of course. So I am Rachel, obviously. I am 31, about to be 32 years old in a week. I live in Yorkshire with my husband and my two dogs in our lovely house that we bought last year. And I've been playing The Sims for, oh gosh, 20 something years. I've been playing since The Sims 1. And I've been part of the EA Creator Network for 5 years now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's been 5 years. I cannot believe that.
Did not expect that answer. I
No.
thought you were gonna say like, yeah, like 5, 6 months, not five.
Yeah, it's been like 5 years. Yeah. I was one of the first people that they took on outside of people who created videos. So I was I was only on Tumblr when I got invited
Oh,
onto the
wow.
network. Yeah, so I was primarily so when I started my Tumblr, I was all into The Sims 3 and I played on my iMac. You could just imagine it, can't you? So that's when I started my Tumblr. And then I got into The Sims 4, and my now husband had bought me a laptop to play The Sims 4 on, and I had my blog going on, and I saw that they were taking on applications for people who ran blogs and just like different kinds of creators, I guess.
Mhm.
And I decided to apply on a total whim, thinking I'm not going to get on, but it's always worth trying.
Mhm.
And then the next day, I got an acceptance email and said, right, you're in, cool, let's get you started. And I'm like, really? Me? Are you serious? And then 5 years down the line, it's like, oh, it's been an incredible journey. It really has.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was I didn't even know that was a thing. Like I knew there was EA Game Changers, but I
Yes.
didn't know that the network was existed 5 years ago, which now leads me to my question.
Yeah.
The Sims community has clearly changed in the last 5 years. What
Mhm.
notices have you seen in the creator network from 5 years ago, from day one to current day?
I think when they primarily the EA Creator Network for me before I got on was definitely larger YouTubers that we all know and love. And then when they opened up these applications and then they allowed, I would say, smaller content creators in.
Mm-hmm.
And I think now they look at people and the content they produce. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's video or I mean, I know we were talking a little bit about this before, but like podcasting or blogging, I think they're looking at people in a more generic approach rather than just, okay, well, let's get these YouTubers in.
Mm-hmm.
I think they've definitely opened up, haven't they? Because they opened up the applications a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we were talking about this before the podcast started. And I think they're just wanting more people to come on board and they're wanting to make it a more inclusive experience, I think, for creators as well.
I think that's really smart, to be honest with you. Because so in my real day to day, when I'm not, being Stassi, I work in corporate marketing. So it's really smart to be able to open the door to have smallerish creators come to the table, show off their work. Because
Mm-hmm.
to be honest with you, there are some people on like Instagram that are so talented,
Oh,
but
I
but they
agree. I couldn't agree more.
but they only have like 300 followers, right? So
Yeah.
like unless you have a marketing brain and know everything, it's really hard to get exposure, especially now with the algorithm. Unless you're posting 20 reels a week, your
Yeah.
content is not being seen. So it's really nice that EA has opened the door to everybody so that everyone can apply. What I'm actually seeing a lot of EA creators coming in are people of color, not just having creators from North America, having creators from all over the world,
Yeah.
people who have autism or some form of what's the word I'm looking for? Just different, and
Yeah.
they're able to come on and be part of this network and share their experience and share what we're building. Is something that like I love about the Sims community, that we can be anywhere in the world and we can all love the same game. And I'm a huge believer, and I can't believe they even said this at the summit when there were many slides in between. They're like, the Simmers make the Sims, and I
Yeah.
could not agree more.
Yeah.
It's not
Absolutely right.
it's us as the players that make the game the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, now that we're on it, so like, what is it like to be part of the EA Creator Network? Like what things that you can, like, what things do you do for it without crossing over the line that you can't talk about stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, sure. So I think everybody knows at this point that we get early access to packs. Now, depending on the pack, depends on how much early access time we get. So kits we don't get early access to. Totally understand, because I think there's less involved in terms of like, okay, well, here's your early access. What bugs have you sort of seen? This, that, and the other. With expansion packs, I think it's 48 hours, if I remember correctly. I'm trying to think, because the last time it was obviously high school years, and I remember sitting down thinking I want to build a high school, and I've got like 48 hours to actually get this done, and it was it was just huge, and I was thinking, how am I going to get this done in such a short space of time? But I think the early access period has definitely been, I think creators used to get, oh sorry, people that were part of the network used to get much earlier access than they do now. And then I think there's been a couple of problems in the past with non-disclosure agreements and people leaking things. And I think just to protect themselves, I think the network sort of said, okay, well, you all get 48 hours early access, and then the embargo lifts. That's normally 24 hours after early access is received. And then obviously the pack is released the following day. So it really just depends on sort of what pack is coming out, if that makes sense.
No, I got you. That I kind of figured that's what they would do. Now, what I would wish is EA has been really focusing on builders the last little bit, which is great. And there's so many amazing builders. I would love to see casts. I would
Yeah.
like to see storytellers. I'd
Yes.
like to see machinima creators be able to have a moment in the spotlight as well. Because, like, again, builds are absolutely amazing, but there are some fantastic cast work out there. Because, like, leading up to the high school pack drop, there was, I think it was the 28 student challenge. And you
Yeah.
had all these cast
Yeah.
creators doing all these different kids that you would find in high school. I think that's amazing. And I really wish that EA would shine a spotlight on cast creators.
Totally agree.
Oh,
I
yes.
could not agree more. I think they could definitely, obviously they've started bringing in builders to build lots for upcoming worlds, which I mean, I think we're all in agreement that that is the most amazing thing ever. I think they could utilize, like you were just saying, people who are more focused on cast and gameplay too, and how they can integrate them into pre-made sims and families and backstories too. I think if you just group everything together, that would be just amazing.
Exactly. Bring in builders to do the building aspect, because
Yeah.
let's not talk about the get to work buildings, because those are awful.
That's a whole other conversation that we could have.
Whole, other thing. And then have cast coming and create your townies.
Yeah.
And then have a storyteller come in to create the drama and create the stories, right? Like
absolutely.
there's like, we're literally grasping at EA being like, let us help you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
Anyways, we will definitely talk a little bit more about your builds coming up in a little bit. Now, I want to touch upon that you've been playing The Sims for about 20 years.
Mm.
It will be 20 years for me next year. Um, what is your favorite rendition of The Sims?
Oh, okay. I had a feeling you were going to ask me this, so I've already got an answer prepared. So it's for me, it's difficult because I've got emotional attachments to each rendition of The Sims, but my memories and like the good memories that I have are definitely with The Sims 2. The Sims 2
Yeah.
has my entire heart. It just does.
I love that. See, I fight between Sims 2 and Sims 4. Now, Sims
Yeah.
2, because I played like The Sims. I love it. Like I have to I refer to as The Sims 1 in conversation, but like as
Yeah.
true OG, it's The Sims.
Oh, it's just The Sims.
And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
Sims 2 and Sims
Yeah.
3 and Sims 4.
Uh-huh.
Um, you played The Sims, so you know that it's hard, very hard. So it was hard because like everything was always on fire.
Yeah.
Like at
So
all
true.
times. Burglars just came in.
That
God,
music.
the music. God forbid if you had to pee and go to work at the same time because you weren't going to work.
Yeah.
You know, like I like it's been said that like The Sims was like a very hard version of the game. It's the hardest version of
Yeah.
the game, and then you have
Hmm.
Sims 2, which is a literal night and day difference. Like
Yeah.
I remember like my computer when I got The Sims 2 couldn't even handle it. It couldn't handle the graphics. And
Mine neither.
all right, and because like you were able to like create. I remember the first time I was able to create a sim. I was like, what is this?
Like, why are they 3D?
Yes, I was
Why
just
are
like,
they not pixel people?
right, and like back then you're like, oh my god, look at these graphics, they're so amazing. You look back at it now, you're like, oh my god, why are there shadows on her face? Why is
Yeah.
every way she goes there's a different shadow? But I think Sims 2 was just like, holy shit, like the customization, the worlds, the packs, the
The music.
drama, the music. It was so much, it was so night and day different.
Yeah.
And then Sims 3 came out and you were just like,
Well,
girl, they figured it out. Obviously there was
yeah.
problems,
They
but
were
they
ambitious with The Sims 3.
yes,
Very ambitious.
they're like,
Mm.
so the person like, we're gonna give the community everything they've ever wanted
Yep.
at once.
Open
Um,
worlds.
open worlds,
Yeah.
drivable cars, color wheel, you
Color
know,
wheel. Yeah.
all the things we've been screaming at The Sims 4 that we want. Um, and then Sims 4 comes in and it's like this like forgotten child of being like, so why are there no pools? And why is it a
Yeah.
baby to a child?
Like Sims 1 energy.
Right, yeah. And then
Yeah.
they fixed it over the years, which is great. So like I like Sims 2 for the nostalgia of it, but I
Yeah,
feel
me
like if
too.
I actually played it as like every day like I do with the Sims 4, I don't think I would like it as much.
I'm in exactly the same position.
Thank you.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah, because
absolutely. Totally agree.
it's so nostalgic, like nostalgic. You'd be like, oh my gosh, like yes, I love this. Like I was saying yesterday, like I if they ever released The Sims like the complete edition with making magic, hot date, vacation, superstar, if it had $1,000 price tag on it, I would go take a loan out to go play it because I want to
Yeah.
play The Sims one more time in my life.
Yeah.
My
Hmm.
computer now, because I have a copy of the original Sims. I tried to download on my computer. The disc was like, what is this? What are you what am I in? Because
This
this
is
is
ancient.
yeah.
Yeah.
What have you what
What are you doing?
is this a floppy disk? What are you? Well, now the thing is like most laptops don't have disk drives,
No, because so
right?
many games are downloadable now. It's sad.
Exactly. So I'm just like, hmm, okay. But yeah, I would totally do it. If EA ever released the original Sims on Origin, Steam, wherever, would you play it? Would you buy it?
absolutely. I won without even thinking I would buy it and play it. Absolutely, I would.
Right? Now,
Yeah.
this is what I want from The Sims. I fuck kids. I understand they're for console players. I understand that's their form of CC. I think console players should get kits for free and PC players
Mm,
should have to pay for them because we have the ability to have CC. But
mm,
the reason I say fuck kits is because they're releasing them at such a fast pace
yeah.
that like I don't know. I don't know. But anyways, the kit I would buy without screaming at EA would be um if they did a Sims Classic Retro kit. So they took items from Sims 1, Sims 2, and then re-released them in Sims 4.
Yes. I've been
I
thinking about this for so long. I think they need to do that. The heart-shaped bed is a
yes.
must. That it just needs to happen. The blow up like chair,
Mm-hmm.
the inflatable chair.
The
Yes,
obviously the
please.
cage dancers.
The
The
cage dancers, that awful cheesy dance floor. Just
yes.
do it. Do it for the OG Sims players, and then it's an option if people want to buy it or not. But like, do it for us.
Do it
That
for
would be
us.
amazing.
Because like I always had to have the heart-shaped bed and everything. I'm gonna tell you
Yeah.
something embarrassing that I didn't know it vibrated. I
No,
forgot it
neither did
vibrated.
I. I just thought this is a really nice bed. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that look nice there. What's going on?
Yeah. Why is it? What
Because
are they
I was
doing?
like, how old was I when The Sims came out, the original? I was like 9, 10. When I was playing it, I was like 11 years old. I don't know what a heart-shaped vibrating bed is. I just think it
Right.
looks really nice.
I just thought it was pretty. I was like, oh my
Yeah.
God, it's a heart shape. I'm just gonna put it in
Yeah.
like every bedroom. And like are the heart shape hot tub? I was like,
Oh yeah, the hot tub. I forgot about that. Yes.
okay. Like
Yes, yes, yes.
I didn't 100 I didn't understand what woohoo was for a long time. I mean, I
Yeah.
was a child. Like I'm my parents were super divorced when I was very young. So I got to get well, dad lets me play. Well, mom lets me play. So they didn't give a shit. They were just like, okay, it's a game. And it's like, oh, it's a 12 plus. It's fine. I was like
Yeah.
9. They're like, ah, still figure it out. And I did. And I remember I got the hot date pack. My mom bought it for me for Christmas. And she was watching me play it and she's like,
Hmm. What's going on here?
she's like, what? Because she sat down with me and she would watch me play. She's like, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm sending my Sims to bed because they have to go to work, and then I'm gonna get them up, and then they're gonna dance in the cage because it gets their activity or fitness or happiness up, and then I'm gonna get them to go to work, and then I'm gonna make them have dinner, and then I'm gonna get them to have a baby. And she's like, oh, what's the baby aspect of it? I said, well, I put them in the bed and then they do it, and then that's it. And she's like, huh.
Total disbelief.
And she's like, and I'm like, yeah. And she's like, are you any questions? And I'm like, yeah, mom, what's dinner? I'm hungry. Like it's just you
Yeah.
don't, because you're so innocent, you don't think about it, right?
No. No, not
Right.
at all.
Anyways, speaking of innocent, The Sims released the Sim Summit on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Did you watch the Sim Summit?
I did.
Yes.
I did, yes.
What
Yeah.
were your thoughts before we dive into it?
Okay, so I think there was a lot of theatrical things going on and not a lot of content that was explored. I'm sorry, like if that's not if that's an unpopular opinion, I don't know. Like the dancers and the interviews in the street, like I think that could have been like missed out. And then there could have been like maybe more focus around future development and future packs, and then obviously the future of the Sims. I just think it could have just been pulled back a little bit. I don't know. You know?
That is the fucking best answer I've ever heard. I've asked a lot of people this the last like 5-6 days. That is the best answer. Nothing can
So
top that.
cheesy.
It was
so
okay.
cheesy. Like me being obviously a Brit, like a Yorkshire lass. Like
Yeah.
for me, it was just too much. I'm watching it and I'm like, oh no, like I came home from work early for this. No, this isn't it.
Um
That was honestly my thought process.
so it was on what it was all this EA shit always happens like 1 p.m. my time. So I'm at work. Why can't it be like a Saturday at like
Yeah.
9? Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, just
I think more
fucking
people could tune in if it was on a weekend.
why is it during the day? So, well, I mean,
Yeah.
for us, it's during the day. If you're well,
Uh-huh.
because they're in California, it's 10 a.m. there. And
Yeah.
then for the rest of us, it's 1. And then you're 6 hours ahead of me. Is that correct? 5 or 6?
Yeah, so it's like 2:45 in the afternoon right now.
Okay, so you're
So
5 hours ahead. It's the
uh-huh.
same idea. So I'm sitting there. It's a stupid lunch and learn meeting. So I'm kind of
Oh.
watch the summit. So I'm literally like this. Anybody who's listening to the podcast, I'm doing that awkward, like I'm paying attention to you, but I'm clearly looking at my screen. So I have it on. I'm watching it, but I have the subtitles on, so I clearly can't have sound on. So I'm only seeing about every 8th subtitle word because I can't. The subtitles weren't that great. So I'm sitting here trying to understand everything. So I'm watching it and I'm like, why are that? Who's singing? Who's dancing? Is this like a fucking musical video? Like was this like this person's musical video and there also happened to be an EA announcement at the same time? Like I don't
Yeah.
and then Kelsey in the street and I'm like
Yeah.
I couldn't ask what she was asking people. I couldn't hear it at the
Yeah.
time. So I'm like, what is she asking people? Who cares what she's asking? Like I agree, I'm here all for the content. So the first thing they're like, yeah, so like like there's like years of EA4 content, so like don't you worry, like Sims 4 isn't going anywhere and there's new worlds. I was like, oh, that's cool, that's awesome. And then I'm continuously like and then it switches to mobile pretty quickly and
Yeah.
I'm like, is this a new game? I'm like, oh no, Sims mobile's been around. I just love that the big update for that is they added balconies.
Oh, it's so cute. Like obviously the entire community has been wanting it for so long. It's like us wanting babies to be freed. It's exactly the same thing, isn't it? It's like, why are babies objects? Oh, here you go. Here's a new life stage, and we're gonna have babies now. It's the same sort. It's on the same line, isn't it? I love it. If that's what they want, and then that's what they have. I think that's amazing.
I was just more concerned that they weren't already in the game. I think that was just kind of more. I'm like,
Yeah,
wait, what?
yeah. There's obviously a reason for it that I can't quite fathom, but there was a
Yeah,
reason for
I
it.
was like, oh, cool. So now they can go out and barbecue. Like, okay,
Yeah, they could take in the views.
they could take in the view. And then I saw the mod um platform, which is awesome because I had a similar spot yesterday with Cotton Socks, and we did a really deep dive on it because she's really been like pushing it, how amazing it is. And I needed a little bit of it to understand. And I love that. Bring these modders, these CC creators into the game. As someone who is a storyteller and cast, CC is required. It really does make the game a little better. I'm really happy that this is going to be there. They're going to have a chance to monetize for people who are maybe not comfortable downloading CC from websites. Because I mean, we all roll the dice, right? Every time we download CC,
that's
we're like,
it. Come on, antivirus.
It's fine.
Stay strong.
We got this. But yeah, so it's really nice as well that when the fucking patch update comes, and like I swear to God, every time I know there's a patch update, I like I was going to play the game tonight. Now I have to spend 2 hours fixing it. And I don't even play with Tool or Red Shelf. This is just like normal, not even like the CC bits that this doesn't work. So I'm like, okay, I'll just figure out what CC doesn't work and go from there. So I'm really excited to see that that's coming to the game. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I'm really excited to see a safe platform that is being promoted by the Sims team for creators who create custom content, like you've just said, staples to the community. And I think it's going to be amazing. I think once they get more people on board as well, obviously I know they've got people on board coming on now that are going to be rolling it out, but it'll be really nice in the future to see more people coming on board as well.
I totally agree with that. And then you'll have like I see the question then was, could console players use CC?
Yeah, I think I saw a tweet. I think it might have been yesterday or the day before, and someone had, I don't know whether it was one of the sim gurus or whatever, and it said, right now, this is just for PC players. And I know people are like, well, right now, does that mean maybe in the future console players could download CC? Logistically, how that would work, I have no idea. Not a clue. But I know people that play on console are desperate to have CC in their game. So
Mhm.
it'd be interesting to see how that plays out. If it is a possibility, I'd love for the console players to be able to use CC as well.
I totally agree. I've become very good friends with some console players. I actually just held a round table for console players just to to share tips and tricks, because this is how much. So as a kid growing up, I was not really big gamer. I didn't have time. I was in competitive dance 6 out of the 7 nights a week. I didn't
Mhm.
have time for video games. So I mean, obviously weekends and like I'm talking like a PC game like 20 minutes before bed is kind of like what I had growing
Yeah.
up. So like when it comes to like anything with like a console and I have to hold it, oh my God. I'm sitting down, I'm like, so A does what? And what does X do again? And I have to sit down. I'm like, okay, A and X. So I was, it's tattooed simmer. And she's like, yeah, so if you want to do this, you gotta go like left, right, side, right, X, B. And I'm like, what? I'm sorry, like
Yeah.
can we do that one time? So like this. And she's like, yeah, but like when you do it every day, it's just second nature. It's no different than like the shortcuts on a keyboard. And I'm like, you are
Uh-huh.
absolutely correct. But teach an old dog a new trick. Like I didn't realize that like you're right. Console players would literally have to like press the buttons to do that. Have you ever played The Sims on console?
I haven't actually. I've only ever played The Sims on PC, I believe, unless I'm forgetting when I was younger playing some sort of rendition of The Sims on like my PlayStation 1 or 2.
Yeah, like
Or even wasn't there a Sims game on Nintendo DS?
oh yes.
Sims Herbs?
Sims
Was that what it was
Herbs,
called?
baby. Oh, I
Yeah, like when
love
you drove around on a scooter. That I played.
yes.
That's not console, that was on Nintendo DS, right?
Yep.
Right,
I
yeah.
love
I
Sims
definitely played
Herbs.
that.
You would
Yeah.
have to go through all the missions in the towns and be able to. I think was it Mr. Oh, it's not Mr. Big, Mr. Somebody. You had to stop him because he was gonna buy the town or something. I just
Yeah.
remember you go through the graveyard and then you go through the grave and then you go to another world and there's this leprechaun and it's a violin game that like I would spend hours trying to beat that. And I remember the one day I was on an airplane to somewhere and I finally beat it. I was like, yeah. And I screamed. And everyone's like, who lets kids on an airplane?
You got really into it.
I did. I was always like, like every time I'd be like, I couldn't do that. I was like, because I couldn't like, no, I would just say, fuck. But like that, I was like,
Yeah.
applesauce, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I've always been a PC player as well. Unless
Yeah.
like I had it on like I had it for the Game Boy and the PSP. The only one time that I ever played it on console was before I moved into this house 3 years ago. Me and my fiance built our floor plan in The Sims so we could
That's
have a
genius.
general idea of like where we could stick our furniture. This was before I got back into Sims. I remember being like, "Hey, remember that game when we were kids? It's like The Sims. Do you think we could like build our house like a floor plan in there so we
Yeah.
could like see where like how big the bed's gonna be and stuff?" And he's like, "Yeah, for sure." And then that was like kind of initially resparked it for me. And then it wasn't until like Kelsey Peachy Kiss 100 Baby Challenge I was like, I gotta play. But
Yeah.
anyways, I do hope one day taking it fully back that console players will have the ability, if they so choose
Uh-huh.
to play with CC and mods. Because correct me if I'm wrong, you're a judge on the Builders game, correct?
I was last
You
season.
were
Yes.
last season. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Because I couldn't remember because it's like this is the third season now. Because like I don't know all the judges anymore. I know there's a
Yeah.
Discord room for it. I'm back to being a judge, and like that's how I got to know console players. Like there's some people on there, and I'm like, you play on console?
They should get extra points for playing on console.
What?
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here. I'm like, how? How do you do that? But yeah, no, like, dude, there's more console players out there than you think. So I'm
Yeah.
kind of happy that
There are.
I hope one day that like they'll have that ability. What else was it released this? Oh, this time. Oh yeah, The Sims free play. I have the photo right here from my notes from Wednesday's podcast. It
Yeah.
looks exactly the same. exactly the same.
There are some differences. It's an upgrade, but it's when they put them side by side, I knew. I mean, me being obviously more into The Sims 4, for me, my eyes were glazing over. I'm going to be honest. I can't lie,
Yeah,
but there is a difference there. I'm glad that they're making the improvements. I'm laughing. I don't know why I'm laughing.
that's
Um,
okay.
yeah,
I got you. It looks like they got Botox because there's no hard
maybe they
lines.
did.
It's like because they had like these like really like aggressive like aging lines,
Yeah.
and I was like, hmm, Botox. That's good. Their faces because I showed the picture to my fiance because he was all like, oh my god, like because he's like the number one supporter I have, and he like everything I say I'm gonna do, he's like, yes, and I'll go do it. So I was like, oh my god, like they could be releasing this in Sims 5, and I showed him a picture of the before and after. He's like,
What's the
is
difference?
this like one of these games where you go online to like spot the difference, and there actually isn't one, but you think there's
Yeah.
one because you're looking for it. And I'm like, yeah, there's just no lines. He's like, oh, okay. But obviously, last but not least, obviously the big thing talked about at the Sim Summit was Project Renee. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts about Project Renee?
I think I love the introduction of all these customization options. That looks incredible. Being able to adjust the width of the bed,
Mm-hmm.
reintroduction of the color wheel as
Mm-hmm.
seen previously in The Sims 3. I love that. Obviously, I think anyone who's anyone, because we've had The Sims 4 for so long. What's it been, 8 years, 7 or 8 years now?
8, I think.
Yeah, I think you get used to The Sims 4, and then when you see like a sneak peek of the next
Mm-hmm.
generation of The Sims, you are going to have some, I don't know, holdbacks. And I think I was looking at it and I'm thinking, okay, that's really cool. I think it's very interesting the introduction of you've got like multiple people working on a build, like a multiplayer sort of situation. I
Mm-hmm.
noticed that. I thought that was quite intriguing. I noticed that there's like a cross platform as well. So there's people on tablets and phones, and then you're on PC. I don't know how that's going to work futuristically with graphics and performance. There's a lot of questions that I had, and I think I'm just going to take it as it comes
Mm-hmm.
because even in, I mean, people were sharing early renditions of The Sims 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then the final product was nothing like what we'd seen.
Mm-hmm.
So I am holding back, and I'm just being open-minded about the entire thing. I'm glad that it's not coming out for another few years because I'm not quite ready to let go of The Sims 4 just yet. I think it still needs a little bit of TLC to get it to where people want it to be before we leave it. And I'm pleased that we're going to have another what, 2 or 3 years of The Sims 4, and I'm hoping
I
we
think
can
by
get it in a good place.
2025, I think we'll probably see something maybe first, second, third quarter.
Yeah,
If it comes out like this time next year, this game is not ready.
yeah,
Rachel, that's actually a really good answer. Um, I totally agree with you. I'm gonna be super honest. When I saw, because again, lunch and learn, I'm looking down. I thought it was a mobile game, another mobile game update.
yeah.
I had
Mhm.
no idea it was Sims 5. So I left. I was like, oh, they didn't know Sims 5. I texted to my fiance. And then like 2 seconds later, I get a tweet being like, oh my God, Sims 5. And then my inbox got flooded for one reason and one reason only is I've been screaming at EA. Why do I have to download CC to have cushions? Why
Yeah.
do I need to do that?
Uh-huh.
That's so
Yep.
annoying. So people were DMing me being like, oh my God, like you're excited that Sims 5 is gonna have cushions. I'm like, what? What?
Yeah.
What? I missed something? Clearly missed
Yeah,
something.
it's have you played Planet Zoo before?
I
Have you
have
played
not,
Planet Zoo?
no.
Okay, so I went through, I mean, I've got Planet Zoo on my PC. I went through a period, I think
Mm-hmm.
it was during lockdown when I was playing Planet Zoo like every day.
Yeah.
And the tools in Planet Zoo, it looks like they've implemented something very similar
Okay.
in this next edition of The Sims, and it's very interesting because it's totally customizable. You can move objects like honestly it's superb, so it will be very interesting to see if that's what they are bringing into the next rendition.
I think that'd be really cool as well. What I am
Yeah.
concerned of, um, is I'm gonna need a new computer if it's this customizable because
Yeah,
it's going to have to allow for a lot of space.
yeah,
Especially if it has this much customization, the color wheel.
Uh-huh.
What I'm a little concerned of is they did not show what the Sims are gonna look like. That
Yeah.
concerned me the most because
I don't think they've got anything about the actual Sims.
I don't
Honestly.
know. I'm concerned
I
that
don't
they're
think
gonna
they
take
do.
it way more cartoony, where I really want it more realistic because that's actually something I really truly like about The Sims 4. That like the Sims look really realistic, like obviously
Yeah.
a 3D human, but they
Yeah.
look a lot better than Sims 3, Sims 2, and The Sims, right? So
Yeah.
like I
Uh-huh.
really want Sims 5 to take like that really good approach and make
Uh-huh.
it a lot more realistic. What are your thoughts about that?
I think in terms of how the Sims look, I've always said the Sims for Sims, but with CC.
Yes.
That's what I would quite like to see. Not necessarily the Sims for Sims that shipped with the Sims.
No.
The
No,
Sims
no,
4
no.
Sims with, the eyes and a bit of
Yes.
hair and the skin textures and things like that CC creators have implemented. That would be my ideal. Still a bit of cartoony, but not too realistic. Get that right balance.
Yeah, like why do I need to download CC eyelashes? Shouldn't the eyelashes just
Yes,
be in the
exactly. And
game?
that is a staple for me. When I do play The Sims, when I do create a sim, it's got to be the eyelashes because it
Mhm.
just, I don't know, it just completely transforms the face, completely
Oh,
transforms it.
absolutely. And it kind of looks weird without it. Yeah, or like, like the really like giant eyebrows that take up like the entire forehead.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Or like the really dodgy makeup that's not all my makeup is CC. I even have
Yeah.
male CC makeup just to like, give them like skin texture and just like a
Yeah.
little bit more. I can't do it without it anymore because I'm like, oh my God. When a patch comes through and I look at the sim, because it's like the resuming, it's like resume playing this person. And you look, I'm like, oh my God, they're just a naked mole rat in my corner. There's literally nothing there. But I'm concerned that they haven't shown that. I'm very happy. Like I agree. I'm not ready to hang up my belt on Sims 4. Even if like the Sims 5 was going to be announced in a year and a half, I would still continue to play Sims 4
Uh-huh.
until Sims 5 has expansion packs and the initial bugs will be fixed just because I've
Mhm.
spent a lot of money on Sims 4 and
Yeah.
I'm not ready to let it go um, just yet. Now, what wish do you have for Sims 5 for like anything?
Oh, that's a really good question. I hope because primarily being a builder, I really hope that the build structure is similar to The Sims 4 because I think we can all agree that The
Mhm.
Sims 4 probably has the best build mode out of
Yes.
all of the Sims games. It's user friendly. It's if you're a beginner coming into The Sims 4, if you watch a tutorial, you can replicate it so easily because it's so versatile. I just hope that the next rendition of The Sims
Mhm.
has something very similar and that it's user friendly.
I agree. Just because a lot of Sims YouTubers do are English based, right? But there's
Yeah.
Sims players all around the world who maybe they like other Simmers in parts of the world don't create YouTube channels. But anybody can watch a YouTube tutorial about like a Sims
Mhm.
build and know what to click and what to
Yeah.
do. I do
Uh-huh.
like that user friendly ability. I also do appreciate that we now have Emily, aka Clippy, because like the first time I saw Emily pop up, I was like, "What the fuck is that? Who the fuck are you?" And it's like, "Hi, I'm Emily," and I'm like, Emily, I have like 5,000 hours clocked in on The Sims.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll just disable you for now. You're not required. But I think just talking about that, I think it's fantastic because obviously they've released Sims 4 base game for free for
Yes.
everyone now.
Yes.
And I think that ties in so nicely with the introduction of that
Emily.
feature of Sims
Uh,
because you're loading up the game for the first time and you're like, I have no idea what to do. Like, what do I
mhm.
do? And she's there. Okay, do you want to do this, or this? And whatever you want to do, I will guide you through that. And I think that's fantastic.
I
Me
do.
personally, I don't use it. But for
I,
new players, I think that's lovely. That's a
I
lovely thing to add.
I agree. New players, you need it, especially kind of right away because you're like, because most people who come in and play, they're like, I've watched the 100 baby challenge, or I've seen a rags to riches, or I've seen this, or not so berry. I'm gonna
Yeah.
start doing that. How do you start?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I wish there would have been like a, if you've played for over 1,000 hours, you're good. Figured
Uh-huh.
it out. Anything below 1,000, hi, I'm Emily, your new virtual assistant. Let me help you. I think that would have been fine, but there's no way they could have done that. But I just remember I didn't know that that was going to be an update, and I just started playing. And I'm like,
Were you? I'm
what?
just glad we could take and say, look, you're not required. Goodbye.
Yeah, I just actually I'm like, girl, have you not been here?
Yeah.
Clearly, I know where the build buy is, but thank you. And
Yeah.
she's kind of like that sales rep at like that like a, when you go to like a bougie store and they like follow you around because like they need that commission, and she's like, hey, I can show you how to build buy. I'm like, girl, I got you. I'm in my build that I built, but thank
Yeah.
you. She's like, hey, I can show you how to customize your covers. I got you. I did
Yeah.
it.
Don't worry. We know how to do that. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyways, and then we had the babies update. I'm
Yeah.
curious what we talked about a little bit before. Like I have mixed feelings. I'll tell you my feelings
Uh-huh.
first. That I'm very happy for the gameplay creators that need and want that in their game. I
Yeah.
think it's perfect. And for anyone who wants to play with that aspect, fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm already looking how to remove that function before it starts. Would be awesome. Just because I'm concerned with not every pack. So let's talk about, let's take an imagination trip to outdoor retreats world. Is
Mm-hmm.
that going to be set up for toddlers or infants crawling? The game came out 7 years ago. So like
Mm-hmm.
The Sims is going to have to do a giant rehaul on all of their old content to ensure that this toddler can crawl. Truly, I think they're just taking the pet animation code for it and just reworking it into infants.
That's gonna
That
be
is,
creepy if that is the case.
I agree. Again, they're like, what's a popular Hayden or Caden or Satan? Caden has run away, like when you're like, what? And you just see this like toddler or infant just crawling up your lot. Yeah, like I'm concerned about that, or just babies going through walls, babies crawling up the walls. Like now, if you're taking your child out, are they going to need high seats or high top tables? Is that something that is going to be working in the game? Is it actually going to work this time? Like I think there's just a lot in there that
Yeah.
EA has not proven themselves that they're able to fix the bugs before they release patches and updates. So I'm very concerned about the toddler update or infant update, whatever they
Yeah,
want to call it.
it was interesting because when it came up on the screen, I'm like, I know so many people have been advocates for this, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
yay, free the baby. We all know that's that slogan, free
Yeah.
the baby. And then learning that it's going to be a whole new life stage. So it's going to be like the baby object, and then this new baby, and then toddler, then child, then teen. That's quite interesting to me. And because a lot of people were thinking, well, that's a big baby. I was thinking
Yes.
that is a big baby. I'm gonna be honest. And I remember thinking, watching, I'm like, that's a bit like between baby object and toddler, not like a whole new baby.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's I think it's gonna be interesting. I also think, and please jump in anytime. I
Yeah.
think this is a really, for me, I think this is an indication that possibly a generations pack will be coming to The Sims 4.
Yes.
It's definitely leaning more towards that because we all know that people want this. We know it. A lot of people want it.
I think Generations is
Yeah.
going to be the last expansion to come out.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
I think they're going to make us wait for it. Something
Uh-huh.
I've been talking about. You have debugged baby, you
Yeah.
have creepy infant toddler crawling,
Yeah.
you
Mhm.
have toddler, you have
Mhm.
child, you have teen, you have young adult, you have adult, and then you have death.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want a middle age. I want a middle age sim that's not from I'm 45 to 118.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. 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 Definitely.
I want to play, like I would love to see retirement homes. I'd like
Mhm.
to see senior communities. I'd like to see accessibility in the game, such as wheelchairs, crutches, anything on the lines of that, anything that would actually come with Generations. I definitely think Generations will be there, but I think it will be one of the last expansions to come out. I think they're going to make us wait for it.
Yeah. And a lot of people think that. I don't really know where I am on in terms of when it's going to come out. I
Mm.
just know and hope that it is going to come out, because every other Sims game we've had a Generations pack of some
Mhm.
kind. And so it would be silly not to include that in the Sims 4, especially when the community is literally screaming for it.
I totally agree. Like I can literally turn my head and I can see my Sims 3 Generations right
Yeah.
there.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Yeah.
So like I think it's coming. I mean, we all know that the Sims carbon copy one another. I mean, EA is known to do that. So I
Yeah.
can't see why they wouldn't do it. I think they're just gonna make us wait for it. And I think the two expansion packs coming out in the next couple of years. I think
Mhm.
obviously one's gonna be in San Francisco because Golden Gate Bridge. And I think like the other one's
Yeah.
like Italy, like a Venice idea.
Yeah, the other one's definitely got a different vibe to it.
Yeah.
Kind of like Tartosa with My Wedding Stories,
Yeah, people think
but
it's
obviously
going
not
to be
Tartosa.
like an Encanto pack, like that world.
Mhm.
And I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know. I'm excited that the Sims 4 is, hanging around for a little bit longer, but I'm not like can't wait to play Sims 5. Anyways, is there anything else you wanted to add about the Sim Summit, that anything that any hopes, wishes, and desires before we move on to your amazing builds?
No, I just hope that we sort of see trickles of what's going to be coming, and they get people involved with playtesting and things like that. I think that's so important at this stage, that they get simmers involved in playtesting, so that we can be like, right, okay, so this is awesome, but have you thought about X, Y, and Z? So I suppose we'll have to see over the next couple of years. But yeah, very excited.
I think that's I agree. I'm happy that they're showing us now. What I'm happy about is instead of it being leaked by Xbox or Microsoft or
Yeah.
dude that works at Target for some reason, um, we are actually getting to see this. Like it's coming within the house. So they're like they're producing the leaks for once instead of
Yeah.
it being leaked on somebody else. There's just kind of like the big thing that happened with Rockstar with Grand Theft Auto 6, that this giant leak came out and they're like, oh
Uh-huh.
fuck. And people are like, I don't want to
Yeah.
play this game anymore because what the fuck's a debug object? And you're like, this is so rough that like this is not what the game is actually going to look like. This is just the first prototype. But
Yeah.
again, people don't know that if you're not a true gamer, right? So they're just
Yeah,
like,
absolutely right. Yeah.
it's nice to see that EA is finally taking it upon themselves to be like, this is what we're working on, Project Renee.
Yeah.
Anyways, I definitely want to talk to you about your amazing builds. Like your builds are phenomenal. They're
Oh, thank you so
so
much.
I love everything you do. So why don't we start with, when you come up with a build, how do you come up with the concept?
Okay, so I've said this for a long time. Pinterest and Google Images are my best friend. If I'm doing a speed build, often I will put up the reference image that I used for that speed build on the screen so that people can sort of see what I was working towards.
Mm-hmm.
So reference images for me are absolutely key. I cannot say that enough. It's very rare that I will think, okay, well, I'm going to do this exterior and just think of it from the top of my head. Interiors are different, but exteriors, I 9 times out of 10, I will have a reference image in front of me.
Okay. No, I agree. Anytime I have to build, I have to have like an image being like
Yeah.
taking like looking back and forth, right?
Hmm.
Your builds are extremely like on a very more realistic side. What is your favorite aspect when you're creating a build?
I love to make my builds look like somebody lives where I'm working on. So it's really important for me. I've definitely pulled back on the clutter, I would say, in the last year. I don't know why or what's happened. I've definitely pulled back, but in terms of making it feel really lived in and adding just little items that you sort of think, this feels really homey. This feels like
Mhm.
somebody lives here. So that's really important to me.
What is your favorite clutter to use?
Oh gosh. Okay. So that's actually quite easy. It is the basket from Cottage Living with the pillows and the throw in it.
Yes.
I
Okay.
love that so much. That is so cozy to me. I don't have one in my own house, but I would love to have something like that. It's got a couple of cushions in and a throw that you can just pull over you on the sofa on a cold night. And that I love that so much.
I agree. I kind of like ties your living room together because when I build, I agree. I like clutter in real life.
Mhm.
I like clutter. Um, you can't ever tell because you only ever see the back of my wall, but like behind, I have like clutter everywhere. Like people walk into my house, so like it looks very cozy and lived in. That's something
Yeah.
that I do strive for. That like I like things on the counter. I can't like anytime I see a very modern home and there's nothing on the counter, like not even a toaster oven, I'm like, do you live here though? Like, do
Yeah.
you?
You've got to have that right balance.
Yeah, exactly. Now, do you use CC for your builds? I'm not 100% sure.
I do not.
You do
I am
not.
CC
Okay.
free.
You're
Mhm.
CC free, which makes sense because you whenever you build, you want everyone in the community to play for it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Um, what item though? Because we were talking about, CC needing to have pillows on your couch that are not like
Yeah.
painted onto the couch, which is
Yeah.
really annoying. What item do you think is missing in any of these Sims packs that you would have to use CC to get besides pillows?
Yeah, I think pillows are a big one. Throws over
Mhm.
the side of a sofa, like a sofa arm in my house in real life. I've got a throw over the back of my sofa that I could just pull over myself.
Yeah.
Um, I think I don't know whether this is a British thing, but like kettles and toasters to put on the counters in a kitchen. I would love to see that so much. I don't know
Yes.
how. Yeah, I would just love to see kettles and toasters in The Sims 4. I really would.
I literally, so I made like a cluttered kitchen and it's all CC because I had to have a kettle on the
Yeah.
stove. I had to.
Uh-huh.
That is a staple and a toaster. How am I
Yeah,
supposed to have my toast and my tea without those things, right?
exactly. Yeah.
Um, actually, do you know, for me, do you know what it is? And it's something you don't really think about, but it's super like realistic in real life. I download CC to have half open doors on the
Yeah.
inside because
Uh-huh.
like right now, like my two spare doors are open.
Yeah,
Yeah. Why does the doors always
absolutely.
have to be closed?
Yeah. No, I agree.
I'm like, oh, I want that. I want that in this. I hopefully Sims 5 have like a half open
Yeah.
door. So if it's just being like, because it's like it's annoying. Obviously, the door opens when the Sims walks through, but like, what if I want the door open just a little bit so they
Yeah.
can like walk by and see a person? Why do I have to download CC to have a half open door?
Even if it's just like you click on the door and then leave half open.
Yes, yes,
You
million
know,
percent
like you wouldn't even
yes.
necessarily need to do that in build mode. You could just do like leave half open. That would be awesome. Because you can do it, can't you? If you put like a wall on a diagonal and you put the door there and then shift it slightly over, you can achieve that look, but you gotta cheat a little bit to get that look.
Yeah, it's not natural. It's not just like, oh, I'm walking by
Yeah,
store.
exactly.
Not much. Um, but because you don't play with CC, what do you packs, I will say, do you think are really great for anybody who wants to start building in The Sims?
Oh, okay. So, my interior style, I'm going to talk about the interior style because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think with the exterior, it's very easy to, even with just base game, to get the look that you want.
Mhm.
Um, in terms of interior style, Dream Home Decorator is a staple for me. Cottage living, I absolutely love. A lot of the items from the high school years pack, if you wanted to do teen rooms, are absolutely fantastic. And eco lifestyle as well. I love a lot of the build and buy items from eco lifestyle as well. I use them a lot in my builds.
I love eco lifestyle build buy. I
Yeah.
I did a top 5 packs for builders or starting off builders, and I had eco lifestyle as my number 2. And you would think that I just said that Get to Work was the best pack to ever come out. Like people were coming from my head. They're like, this pack is terrible for build buy. I'm like, what are you talking about? There's so many plants. Like I
Yeah.
use that all, especially the walls and the floors. I use that on almost every build.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's so good. It's so nice. I love it. I love that modern, sleek touch to it
Yeah.
that has that little bit like kind of earthy vibe. Now, what is your favorite item that you put in every build? Because every builder has one.
Oh no. Okay. So I think anyone that knows me and follows my content, I love a good plant. So when we got that kit,
The
which
blooming
kit
kit.
did that hanging plant come? Yeah, the blooming rooms kit. That hanging plant, oh, it has my entire heart and life. I love it so much. It's so nice. That for me is yes. So much yes. It's such a little thing 'cause it's just a hanging plant, but
Mhm.
I love using it in my builds. Love, love, love.
I feel like that is the best answer I could have ever heard. If you're a Sims builder and you don't put plants in every single Nick Crooney hanging on the desk
Oh yeah.
everywhere, I don't know if you're a Sims builder.
No. My builds are filled with plants. It's actually really bad. Like in any given room, I could have like 5, 6, 7 plants. And I'm looking around in the screenshots and I'm thinking, did I overkill that? No, it's fine.
Nah,
I'll
it's
just leave
fine.
it as is.
Because like so in every build I ever build, I have to have my desk have to have plants. My because you know
Yes.
when you go to bed, you have your end tables. I wish we had better clocks. The clocks are kind of shitty because I'm a clock
Oh, the
person.
clocks are awful.
The clocks and the plants, right?
They're so bad. Yeah.
So, and then if you ask me right now and you're like, hey, Stas, do you have plants in your home? Like my home, my real home. I would say, I don't think so. There's like 20. And I
Yeah.
just like they just blend into the walls at this point. Cause like at Thanksgiving, um, my stepsister was like, oh, like, so like, do you have agreed them to me? And I'm like, no, it's Jason that does. My fiance, he
Mhm.
loves planting and all that great stuff. I'm like, it just kind of like blends in. And he's like, like he asked me, how many plants do you think we have? I'm like, three, maybe 14, but okay.
Yeah. That's it.
I'm just like, okay. They're just there. They're just there at this point. But I totally agree that like you got to have plants. Now, what item do you think needs to go in The Sims 4? Like it's the ugliest thing, you never use it.
Okay, I did a base game build very recently, and we all know when you do a base game build, it's a bit of a challenge.
Yeah.
There's one item in particular. What item is it from the base game? And I just think, just get rid of it, please, 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 please. I feel like it's one of the wardrobes or one of the like chest of drawers, and I'm just thinking, no, just get rid of it. There's a clock that basically is just a big blur. Get rid of that as well.
Mm-hmm.
just, please, please revisit base game and just like make them a bit better. Get rid of them or just remake them. Like, just do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially since like now the base game is free. This is
Yeah.
EA putting out their best foot forward to getting more people obsessed
Uh-huh.
with
Yep.
playing The Sims. I can't do a base game build to save my life just because I will accidentally put something in there that's not base game. Because when you do like a big build and you upload it to the gallery.
Yeah.
When I first started, I was like, when I become a bigger sim, which I don't think will ever happen. I When I build, I'm not going to use 1,000 packs. I'm going to keep it really simple so everyone who wants to be able to play can afford. Now when I upload something, I'm like, how did I use every pack? This is
Yeah.
a bathroom. How did I use every pack in here?
Yeah.
And that's how it
Oh
gets you,
yeah.
right? Because you're like, what? Because I don't have all the packs. I'm pretty content what I have. Like I have all the expansions. I now have all the games. I don't have all the stuff packs, and I definitely don't have all the kits. But like the stuff
Hmm.
packs, like I don't have are like my first pet. Like I think I'm
Right.
okay. I think I'm
We
okay.
can live without that. Yeah. Yeah.
I think I'm fine. Or like
Uh-huh.
the child's bedroom. I think I'm good.
Uh-huh.
Deep good. But like you'll sit there and be like, how did I use everything? Or especially when you're doing CAS as well, and you're like trying not to use CC. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to, and you look at you're like, I used every single expansion pack on here. How is that possible? Because like again, like it's so like it's there. I kind of wish um the base game had more content. What are your like without needing expansions? Like what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I completely agree. I actually made a comment about this on the last base game upload that I put on my channel, and I said exactly that. I think it just needs a little bit of a refresh.
Mm-hmm.
It needs a bit of modernizing because there's a lot of like older style items, which I think are nice. They work with certain types of builds, but I think we also need some more, I don't know, up to date items as well. And I loved when they did they sort of collaborated with some CC creators for a big base game update.
Mhm.
And I think they could do that again. I think that would be really good.
I totally agree. And having those CC creators, those mod creators in the room, they're able to make those decisions, and
Yeah.
they're able to, you know, how can I put this nicely? Sway EA. So it's like there
Mhm.
maybe there won't be as many problems to
Yeah.
start right away, right?
Mhm.
Um, anyways, I got a couple more questions for you, and I'm gonna let you go just because like I want you to get as much rest as humanly possible. And like Netflix, if you're looking for something cringy to watch, Love is Blind, best cringy show ever. It makes you feel better about your life choices. Just because
I'll definitely have a look at
have you
that.
ever seen any of Love is Blind?
No, no, never.
Oh, strap yourself in, kiddos. Nick Lachey and his wife host
Uh-huh.
this Netflix show. And the premise is Love Truly Blind. They bring in 12 men, 12 females, and they go on these pod dates. And you can't see the other person, but you can hear them talking. And the whole point is do you fall in love with a voice? And then if you yes, you propose to this person, and then you get to go on a vacation, and then you live together for 4 weeks, and then you get married, and then at the altar you have the ability to say yes, I will marry you, or no, I won't.
Oh wow. Okay.
It is, we don't have like we don't have Love Island here, okay? Like our like we have Bachelorette, which is just equally as something. So I love Love is Blind because you'll the like someone talking to you for 12 hours, like they're confessing their undying love for you, they want to marry you. Like I've been with my fiance now for, it's going to be 6 years next month, and I don't know, after 12, like I was like, I know I want to be with him, I can see my future with him and all that stuff, but I couldn't do it after like 2 hours of talking. I couldn't just be like, I love you. Like that's just how fast the show goes. So I'm just like,
Yeah, 2 hours is not a long amount of time, is it?
no, no, it's not. To, you know, talk about, you know, life things. You don't usually save the hard life things until like 6 months into dating, because you're like, I got
Yeah.
you, you're mine. Now you can see me for me, right? So like, yeah, 12 hours in, engaged, talking about how many kids they're gonna have. It's how why reason I like it. Bringing it back to The Sims. It reminds me a lot of The Sims, because that's
Yeah, I
literally
can see
how
that.
gameplay dating works. Oh,
It
hi
is.
you. I like you. We're gonna talk, and now we can hug, and now we can kiss. Oh, look, we're engaged. Oh my god, we're
Yeah.
married. Oh my god, we have a kid on the way. It's literally The Sims dating game, but in real life. But anyways, I want to switch. I want to talk to you about your YouTube channel because I really like your YouTube videos. I like your voiceovers. I want to ask this advice. So when I started, my YouTube channel is relatively small because I stopped posting speed builds because I'm not that good at them, and people come to ramble to hear me talk to other simmers, not me talking about my. I'm like, yeah, so guys, so this is the wall. So this is a painting. Yeah, it's the same painting over there. I got my plant. I really like that couch. Oh, hold on, sorry, I got a text. Oh, sorry, that's just basically was my speed builds. Talk to me because your speed builds are amazing. What makes a speed build successful, in my opinion?
So when I first started my YouTube channel 2 years ago, my I don't recommend you do this, but if you want to, go back to my very first video because the nervousness that I felt before I pressed record, I was like, what am I doing? Like I can't do this. And then for the longest time, I was like, I didn't really take it too seriously, and I thought this just isn't for me. And it'd be quite scripted, right? So I'd have like prompts on my screen, like, okay, make sure you mention this and this and this. Now I sit down and do voiceovers, and I'm like, there's no script, there's no nothing. I talk about whatever comes into my head. I'll talk about the build, I'll talk a bit about real life. I'll leave in my mistakes. I often say, let me just put my teeth back in as a joke. Obviously, I don't have false teeth. If I'm making a mistake, I'll go, let me just put my teeth back in. And people love that. People love to see that side that's not as polished, because they're like, this is a real person. I want people to watch my videos and be like, it's kind of like I'm talking to a friend.
Mhm.
And that's definitely what I wanted to do. And I think that's so important, is just keeping it so real and just showcasing your work whilst being super, I don't know, approachable and personable.
Oh, I 100% get you. I think that's what I liked about it, because you left your mistakes in. Like my first time, I'm like, okay, guys, so like, blah, and I cut because I messed up and I
Yeah.
didn't know what to do. I had no idea what the hell I was doing. I'd never used Premiere Pro in my life. I was like, okay, I can put. I remember I thought I was the bee's knees in Premiere Pro when I was able to have my video going and then have my face going over top. I was like, I'm legit. And but like looking back at it now, I mean, I could take the same thing from the podcast. My first ever podcast, you can literally be, hi guys, my name is Stassi, and this is my first ever Sarah Spotlight. Okay, so what is your favorite pack? Like,
Yeah,
I've done so many of these. Again, it's every video is a learning stone. Every podcast is another
absolutely.
learning stone, learning how to communicate, how to be confident, knowing how to gauge the conversation. So you're not just like, I remember, so I wanted to do a let's build, like a let's play, sorry, with cottage living. And so I had 2 episodes, and then my sim just broke. And the sim is still broken to this day. And she just like sits there. It doesn't do anything. It's great. But I remember because I didn't understand like how people did let's plays, and like they actually cut stuff out. So I didn't do that. So I was like, so you know the loading screen? I'd be like, yeah, guys. Like I would actually just read out the captions on the loading screen, and I'm like, I'm so cool. Thanks guys for watching. I had like 2 views, and I'm pretty sure they were my mom. But my mom was like, get it, honey. You're the best Sims YouTuber I've ever seen. And I was like, that's high praise, because it's only been 1 out of 1. So it's like my mom's like, you're my favorite daughter. I'm like, I'm your only daughter. But I 100% get you. Yeah, always go back to original, like your creator's first videos. I will never delete any of my first videos, podcasts, posts, because I want you to see from where you started off to where you are
Yeah.
today, because anybody who presses that submit button for that first time is a huge step, and you're putting yourself out there, and that's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
Yes. What tips and tricks would you give to anybody who wants to start doing their own speed builds?
I think just do it. Everything's like we've just said, everything's a learning curve, and go back on your favorite people that you watch, go way back, see where they started, and then you'll see exactly what we're talking about. And just know that if you are really serious about it, then things will just get better. You're going to learn as you go along. You'll get that audience as well, who people who will give you that boost. And people, knowing that people watch your video is huge. It's absolutely massive, and it just gives you that boost of confidence that you need to just keep going and going and going.
Exactly. And even in the Sims community, everyone is so positive and
Yeah,
welcoming.
yeah,
Even
they
on your
really are.
first video, they're like, oh my God, you did this. Like, let's go check it out. Like, I'll watch it and all this stuff. So,
Yeah,
absolutely put yourself out there and know that you're gonna make a couple mistakes.
of course you are.
Of
And but
course.
laugh it off. Laugh it
Yes.
off and just be like, ha, let's start again.
Yeah. Be like, I'm a nerd. But I feel like you may have just answered this, but what what do you know now about YouTube and building that you wish you would have known when you started?
I think this is going to sound like a really YouTuber thing to say, but like
Yeah.
the day and time that you post
Mm-hmm.
has a massive impact on the views of your video. So do your research and see when other people post, see what time of day they post, and work out something that's going to work for you. This week I've put up 3 videos when I'd only put up 1. So
Mm-hmm.
I knew going into that my views for the last 2 builds or the last 2 videos weren't going to be as good,
Mm-hmm.
and just accept that. But
Mm-hmm.
make videos when you feel inspired, not necessarily just because you think you have to as well. That's a massive bit of advice.
I definitely feel like it's really good advice. As being a social media manager, this is my job to know
Mhm.
what to post, when to post. But like,
Yeah.
I don't know the algorithm.
No.
Like, I mean, I my boss thinks I know the algorithm because I tell him because I like to continue to be employed. But like, I'll spend hours. So like a couple weeks ago, I did this beautiful cast of an elf queen that I will be using in Rose Chronicles. And I was like, this is the most beautiful sim I've ever fucking made in my life. I'm gonna share this. And it was the exact right time, and it was the exact right like day and the exact right hashtags. I was like, this is gonna take off. I'm gonna finally get some a little cast respect because of my cast is up my game. It was like the worst viewed post I had all month. I think that's pretty accurate to say. The next day, I had a hey, do you remember the bed from Sims 1? 50,000 views.
Yeah.
Same time.
You
And
just
then
can't you
you can't
can't ever know.
you
You
can't
can't ever
ever
know.
know, right? It's just
Put out content that you love and that you can get behind, and the
right.
people will follow it. Just try not to think too much about the algorithm, but also keep it in the back of your mind if you know it's going to affect your mindset. That's definitely
It's
my
definitely
advice.
exactly. Or I mean, who is a Sims creator that doesn't have an existential crisis saying, "Why am I doing this? Who am I doing this for?"
Oh, everybody's had it.
At
Everybody's had
least
it.
like twice a year. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's so common. I at the very beginning, I was like, "Who am I doing this for?" Because so I have 3 Instagram accounts. I have my main Stassi page, which is just
Mhm.
basically a dump page at this point. I just throw anything I want at that page. I have a Rose Chronicle page, which is dedicated to the story, just the story, no additional like screenshots or nothing like that. If you want to see all that stuff, you got to go to my main page. And then I
Mhm.
have a podcast page. And my Rose Chronicle page, because I post 10 photos at once. And
Mhm.
like, Instagram deems it as a heavy post. So it will never be viewed right away. It will always get pushed to the bottom. So unless someone likes or shares it, no one's gonna see it unless I'm like, hi, please look at this. Thanks.
Yeah.
But I know that because of my job. People who
Mhm.
don't know that post their stories don't only have like 35 followers. They don't understand why their stuff's getting us. It drags you down. You're like, well, then who am I doing this for? If no one,
Yeah.
and I was like, you gotta do it for yourself. If you're
Oh,
not doing it for
do it
yourself,
for yourself before you do it for anybody else. Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely.
Um, I got one final question for you. Now, you've been part of the Sims community for like a long time.
Mhm.
What's another really big change that you have noticed in the Sims community from the day you started to today?
I think when I first joined the community, I was like I said at the start of the conversation, I was on Tumblr and I was posting
Mm-hmm.
the Sims 3 gameplay screenshots. So I was very much a gameplay
Mm-hmm.
player at that point. I think now it's definitely we've got like I don't know whether it's changed so much as I'm more aware of it, but it's definitely we've got people from all parts. So we've got like builders, we've got people who are more comfortable in cast, people who are storytellers and game players, and I think maybe it's me just being more aware of people sharing each individual story and knowing that we all love the same game, but probably different aspects of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I really, really like that. I love that about this community. And it's something that I don't think a lot of games can say that they have.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that.
I agree. Like obviously I've seen people who play pick a random game, right? It's not like it's like, oh, like I got to this level and that's great. And people are like, you suck because like you're only this far in the game. Blah, blah, blah. We're
Yeah.
here, we're like, oh my god, you built this. This is amazing. Oh my god, look at her. She's so gorgeous. Like, oh my god, I love your story. Right. So I think we're just so supportive. I think that's just who we are. Anyone who like likes to play The Sims is typically very creative and as an
Yeah.
artist in their own right? So nothing makes you feel better when like someone sees your art and they're like, that's amazing. And you're like, oh my God, thank you so much. Like I spent so many hours reading about it. Like I didn't think anybody would notice. Like it kind of it really humbles you right down very quickly because you're like, somebody likes what I did. And
Yeah.
yeah, right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Rachel, I want to say it was an absolute pleasure Thank you so much for coming today. Why don't you tell everybody where we can find your amazing work?
Yeah, thank you so much. So I'm gonna keep it really easy. I am Rachel Pedd across all social media platforms: Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Tumblr. So yeah, go find me.
Please go follow my girl. Her builds are absolutely amazing. Now, Tumblr. Does that still exist for Sims 3? I'm on
It
Tumblr.
does. It does. The amount of people that say to me, Tumblr, really? So because I started on Tumblr, I think I've got this attachment to it. So I always post on Tumblr. Any build that I produce, I'll put on Tumblr with my Sims file share link for the tray files, and then
Yep.
also obviously the gallery link as well. And then the YouTube speed build link. So I have this attachment to Tumblr. But yes, it's still very much in existence. The Simbler, we call it, community. It's
The
it's
similar.
superb. Simbler, yes. There
That's
are some
so.
incredible creators on Tumblr, honestly. So honestly, come over and check them all out because they're fantastic.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I literally just had Tumblr just in case. Like, I think I posted stuff on there like January 2021, and then I forgot my password. I was like, ah, okay, it's fine.
There's honestly there's an affluent community for The Sims on Tumblr. So if you're ever looking for any CC creators, builders, cast play, whatever, there
Yes,
are some fantastic people on there.
I will say that because when I find CC, 9 times out of 10, it takes me to their Tumblr page. And I'm like,
Yes,
yeah, grab that CC.
absolutely.
Toss them a like. Relax. Thank you. I was looking for this pose all morning. Thank you for making this 8 years ago.
Exactly.
I'm a huge viewer. Like because I need poses for everything at this point. Like I was just like this morning, I downloaded royal poses and
Oh,
was
right,
and
yeah.
argument poses. It's fucking why I love poses, and every single one took me to their Tumblr pages, and I'm like, ah, cool. I'll just because what I'll do because like I usually do it when I'm at work when I should be working instead of
Uh-huh.
meeting. I will take. I'm like, oh, cool. Let's take their Tumblr, copy that link, send it in an email, good to go. And I'm like, yeah, because again, I like Tumblr for that purpose. I can go
Yeah,
through and see everything, and I literally fall down the rabbit hole of looking at all these poses, even if I don't even need the pose. I might need it one day, so I'm gonna
exactly. You could
download
just
it.
reblog it and then
Yeah,
obviously you've got it there, haven't you? Yeah.
exactly. And here's Rachel. I want to say it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for coming here today. You're such an amazing part of this community. I cannot wait to see what the rest of the year holds for you. Is there anything before you go that you're working on that you want to share with us? Remember, this is coming out almost coming into the new year.
Yes. So there's going to be a lot of Christmas builds on my channel. I'm going to start doing more live building on the channel as well on camera. And there's a lot planned and there's a lot in store for my channel. So yeah, definitely check it out.
I'm so excited. Please go check that out. I'm so excited to see your Christmas builds. Again, I want to thank you so much for coming here today. I know we're going into the new year. I know it doesn't look like it because on my next videos we'll have Christmas trees behind me. We'll be having Christmas trees until like April into these videos. But I want to say I hope everyone had a really good holidays. And the new year's around the corner. I'm excited to see what everyone's gonna be working on in the new year. And please go check out Rose Chronicles because the new chapter drops on Sunday. So I want to say thank you so much, Rachel, for coming here today and have a great rest of your day. Okay.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been an absolute blast.
You're
Thank you.
absolutely welcome. Have a great rest.
Thank you.